I'm going to try and make a KUD meter.
Ray Stats from the Ghostbusters.
Can
nice
I tell
to see
you what I told your
have
friend?
here. We're just doing a routine spook check.
If Dr. Venkman then is not here.
Yeah, we know that, Johnny.
So why are you came?
Now, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I do know some of the main parts that I've got. I'm going to do a bit of an intro where I show you what I've got, and then it's going to be kind of cuts, really. I'm going to cut out all the flab and just show you the bits, which I think will help you if you want to try and do this yourself. I've not done it myself before. There aren't many builds out there on the interweb, not many how-tos. Some people have done their own take on it, which is kind of what I'm going to do today a little bit, taking some inspiration from others. And we'll see how we get on. But because of that, I'm going to make mistakes, and because I'm doing it as I go. So the edit you'll see will hopefully a bit more succinct, but hopefully you'll find it useful if you've ever thought about doing it yourself. So let's see how we get on. Let's talk about the parts first and the things that we've got. The most important bit you're going to need is the main unit, and the one that was used in the film. And I have it here. It's one of these. It is, I'll zoom out a wee bit, it's a metal detector, but specifically it's a Micronta 3001, and it's made by Radio Shack. And I thought this might be the hardest part to find, given its vintage, but looking at eBay, I'm in the UK, I found 3 or 4 and they were about sort of 25-30 quid each. So I picked one up. This one came in the box. There it is there, Radio Shack Metal Detector. It does work. I've got a working unit, so I'm going to try and possibly retain some of its functionality. So I've got that. That's there. There's our unit. All comes complete. We've got some bits here. We've got various knobs, and twiddles and stuff. Battery pack in the back. So that's that bit. Then the other 2 main bits, and the reason it gets its name, which was from the community, is the kitchen utensils. There's a potato masher and a soup skinner, ladle skimmer, I think they're called. This was probably the one I spent most time looking for. It is a vintage one, it's an old one, and it looks very, very similar to the one in the actual movie. The KUD meter, as you're probably aware, was in Ghostbusters 2. It was in the scene where they go to the art gallery. Winston was the one wielding it, if I recall. I might flash a couple of pictures up for reference so you can see. So yeah, that's stainless steel. It's quite a weighty piece of kit, that. And looking at this was also a bit of a pain. I had a couple of misfires ordering one of these. The one in the film has slightly fewer holes, but they are radial and circular. I had a couple of bad ones that didn't look like it at all. Now this one has more holes, but that's fine. You spend forever trying to find the exact one, depending how accurate you want it. So those are those. Not entirely sure how I'm going to sever these because I need to cut through them. But I do have a Dremel. I do have some metal disc cutters. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't have a special angle grinding cutter. Yeah, do excuse my creased cloth here. Very unprofessional. Now, some other things I did want to try and do was I need to fit an LED, a red one. These are flashing ones, or should be flashing ones. And if I've done my research correctly, they should just, once I've given them some power, they should flash. If not, well, I don't know, revisit that. So I do want to fit some of those. I've got some resistors because this unit here takes, I think it's six AA's, so that's like 9 volts, which is way too much than I need. And I could mess around and put fewer batteries in and stuff, but I haven't really opened it up yet and seen what's inside. So I've got some LEDs, got some resistors just in case. Now that red LED in the movie on the prop goes just around about here. It's flashing if you look in the original prop. I'm going to have to drill a hole through this as well, which can be another nightmare, having seen others try to do it. And I'll be fitting a holder there, which I've got in here, some of them here. Have a look at these. These are little LED holders to pop it in. So I'm going to use that. And then I'll wire it all up, which I do have. So I'll some wiring here. I could have brought pre-wired LEDs. I didn't. I probably should have. Something else I want to attempt to do is, seeing others, they have a green LED in this area, so it lights up that when you turn it on. There's no lighting in the base unit, so I might have a go at doing that as well. I think my thinking is just to run some, utilize the power from in here and splice into it somehow. So that's that. And I did also want to put some sound in it, but I haven't really figured out the best way to do that. I am aware there's some custom boards out there that people have done. I don't know how easy they are to get hold of. There aren't many people making these I've seen recently. If you know your electronics better, you can do your own one. You can program one using some custom boards. I'm not going to do that today. It might be something I do in the future. One idea I found a little toy PKE meter, just a cheap thing, and I thought about taking out the board from in that and fitting a little switch. So some of the ones I've seen, they put a little switch here, which I think is in the film as well. It's hard to tell in some of the pictures, but a little on-off switch. I think I've got that here somewhere. Yes, one of these, which was going to fit here. So at the moment, I don't know whether I'm going to use that to turn on the lights here or utilize the on-off switch on the dial here to do it. But my plan was going to do sort of splice that onto the board, taking out that PKE meter so that I could flick that and get some sort of sound. There is a speaker built in here as well, which I was going to plug into. Fortunately, the one I was going to buy went out of stock as I was about to buy it. There are more, but they're all from the US, so they take a while to get here. So it might be something I come back and do in the second part. I don't know. I've also got myself some epoxy putty so that I can secure the ladle and other bits into the end here. So that is my intentions. That's what I'm going to try and do. And we'll see how we get on. So I will keep the chat to the minimum, and I will just cut in the important parts of the video and sort of drop some chat in when I need to sort of give you an idea of what I'm doing or what's broken or what's gone wrong, because I'm sure there will be plenty of that. But the first thing I'm going to do is open this up, have a look inside, and have a think about how I'm going to fit the two utensils in first of all. That's going to be my first task. So let's get going. Right, let's have a look. I have managed to cut that off. I'm not entirely sure how long that is, but I did take a bit more off in the end. Now my Dremel was a bit of a bust, but actually I ended up using this little device, and that effectively cut through that, so that was good. I also have managed to cut off my masher, ready, and my ladle. So that didn't go too badly. This is a lot softer, so that wasn't too bad. Cut a bit through, snapped it off. Now my plan is to put that into there, like so, and I'm going to use that putty shoved in there to seal up and harden that in that place. This one, a bit different. It's going to go in about this bit here at the top. So I'm going to cut a hole, about a slit in there, and slide that in. Now if we look inside of here, that's going to come through that part into this block, and if we have a look, there is some space in there, but I am going to have to take this board out, which I realised I would have to do anyway after I said I wouldn't, because I want to fit that switch, which I need to get into from under there. So that's going to have to come out, and it's glued down here. And there's a couple of screws here and here. So yeah, I might think about what order to do this. I think I might take this board out, think about my electrics, and perhaps fit the rest, the hardware, so to speak, once I've got that figured out. So I think I'm going to take all that out, have a look, and it'll help me understand a bit better how to secure this in. I think some people have managed just to wedge it in and it seems to stay okay, but we'll just have to see. But I'm going to get that out. That's going to be my next task. Right, here's where I'm at. Come over here. I've got the board out. Here's the board. I had to cut the earphone speaker wires there. So I've got the board out, and yeah, not much under there. This is one chunk of plastic, which doesn't help, because now I'm thinking, how do I get that little green LED in there, which I wanted to put in. So I can't get to the screen bit, which is kind of here. I don't know if I shone it up there, the light would bleed through enough. I might have to experiment. I was trying to avoid taking this off, this pipe, because it's pretty well glued on there. So I don't know. In the meantime, my next steps are to drill a hole through here so I can fit my custom switch. And because I'm going for a bit of a basic on-off light flashing kind of approach for now, in this version anyway, I'm going to then fit my switch, splice it into the power here, fit a red LED, which I'm hoping will blink. I'll add a resistor to the positive side to reduce the voltage, because these are up to 2.2 volts and the batteries provide 9 volts. I will keep everything else here so it all works. Again, like I said at the start, in case I want to sort of utilize that in any way, I don't know. I've also drilled my hole through my masher, which wasn't too bad. I didn't think I'd get through with the crappy drill bits I have, but I did, and that now fits that little holder in perfectly, just like so. So I'll be able to pop my LED in there, attach that. I'm going to add a positive end, red and black wire, positive, negative, to one of these, feed that through here. That's going to come, where will that be? That'll be here, so that'll come underneath there. So I'll also need to put a hole in here, I think that's how I'm going to do it, to feed that wire in. And that'll come through here into there. I think that makes sense. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll try and capture as much as I'm going along. But yeah, that's I'm going to do that before I even think about putting these in, because I think if I do all the fiddly bits first, then these will be like the last parts of what I do. I think I just want to test my theory on making the electrics work, really. See if I can blow it up. That'll be fun. Right, onwards. Okay, so it's been 2 days since that last clip you just saw of me doing some wiring. Couple of things. It turned out that the blinking or flashing red LED that I bought was not a flashing red LED. They'd sent me the wrong one, which was a pain. I thought, well, I'll live with it, and I thought, no, I want that flashing effect. So I've had to order another one, which is why it's 2 days later. That also gave me some time to think about the wiring and what else I might want to do. Now, I'd mentioned that I'd wanted to put maybe a green LED to light up the front display, which I'd seen others do. But I'd run out of my little switches. So I had to dig around in all my bits and bobs and parts, and I did find a three-way switch. And that gave me a bit of an idea. So what I've ended up doing actually, and the switch is in here around the front, you'll see that in the next few clips. So I fitted that into there and it's running underneath this board. You can see the 3 wires coming out here, and to that I've wired in one green LED. It's not as big as the others, but it's bright enough, and another LED, this one here. So there are 2, and this one is a different color, and I'll explain why when I sort of do the reveal. So yeah, I did all that off camera. So just yeah, I did mess up a couple of times, but it's all working now and it is tested. So what we've got here now is there's a switch there. Just switched it one direction, turns that light on, switch it the other one, turns that one on, and obviously in the middle will be off. This we have the positive going into one side of this LED, the positive the other going on the opposite side, and then the main power, which I've piggybacked off here, coming out the battery bay. The red one here, that goes into that middle switch, and then my 2 negatives from the LEDs splice into the negative from the battery bay. So fairly straightforward, and it works fine. But then that left me with a slight dilemma about how do I activate or power the flashing light, because I didn't want it just to come on the minute you put some batteries in. So I thought maybe I could take advantage of the volume switch, which is actually also the on and off switch for the unit as it stands. Now all that is on the little switch, it's this rotary switch here, and when you click it on, it engages a switch and completes the circuit. However, you know, as I mentioned, I'm not much of an electronics guy. You know, I kind of learn as I go, but I was having some trouble thinking about how to do it, and I thought, well, it's easy, I'll just wire the positive to that terminal where it makes a connection. But I assume it's this type of metal, the solder, at least the solder I had, just would not adhere to it. But I persevered, and eventually I did get it to adhere. So for this LED, the red flashing one, the positive is soldered to that one side, so when that connection completes, when you turn it on, it will send power to the red. And then I've also got the negative just soldered to where the other negatives are soldered onto the board. So that's what I've been up to, and that's what I've done. So what I'm going to do next is put this all back together and tidy it up. I'm going to glue down these 2 LEDs down near the display. There's enough bleed through that to light it up, so that should be okay. And then I will crack on with the utensils and getting those fitted into here, and see if we can get them secured in. So that's what I'm going to do next. that's all back together after a little soldering fix. Quite a pain, keeps coming off. I'm going to pop this light off my overhead, to show you the little two-way switch lights that I put in, so you can see what I did. So it's gone a bit dark. So here's our on and off with the volume switch, and if we turn that on, we have our nice flashing red LED, which obviously is going to go into the potato masher. Also, we have this little custom switch here on this side, and if I flip that up, we get a nice green ectoplasm style detection, but if we push down, we get a kind of purple, maybe for mood slime or something like that. Not quite as bright as the green, even though it's a bigger LED, but I think that looks pretty cool. And we're done. I'm really pleased with that. Not bad for a first attempt, particularly as I largely made it up as I went along. But I'm really chuffed with the finished result. So this is our complete meter. KUD meter. So the epoxy's kept all those in. I did put a bit of rub and buff to silver that up a bit. I'll do a bit more. And the light's fitted and it's all working as I like it. Some things might do differently next time if I did another one, and I'm sure if you've got your opinions, or if you've built one in the past, what you did. I think one thing I mentioned was there's no sound. Obviously, I had an idea, as I mentioned at the start of the video, that for some sort of sound effects I could pinch out of another cheap unit. I might still do that. See how I go, or I might even go down the road of custom electrics that people have sort of created for these, but they're not easy to get hold of sometimes, so we'll see. But for now, happy. The little meter here doesn't move up and down anymore. It used to if you turn these knobs here, but I suspected that would happen because I've killed the detecting functionality. I ripped all that out, which was part of the metal detector. But that's okay, it's fine. So yeah, you've seen already, but there's our little flashing light, which is great. There's our green LED and our purple LED. Won't show up quite so well as before because I've got the big overhead light on, but it is all working and I'm really chuffed with that. So let me know what you think. I hope that was useful if you're thinking about making one. Wasn't a sort of how-to strictly, more than follow me as I DIY this and botch it and see how I get on. But I hope you found some of it useful anyway, get some pointers from it. If there's anything specific you want to know how I did that wasn't obvious in the video, just drop me a message. But that's it for this video. If you're local to the Midlands area this year in July, myself and my fellow West Midlands Ghostbusters are exhibiting at Comic-Con at Birmingham NEC for the Midlands Comic-Con by Monopoly event. So if you are planning on going to that, please do come along and see us, and you'll get to see this meter up close and personal. You can even have a go at it. But until then, thank you very much. Some more videos to come soon. But for now, take care and thanks for watching.